This is Sally. Say hello, Sally. Hello. Sally is a girl. Sally has 2 younger brothers and is top in her class in maths and science. Sally's life is pretty good, but Sally's life wouldn't have always been this great. Let's go on a journey of discovery. Here we are at the turn of the 20th century, where there is a war happening. A war over whether women should be able to vote in elections and have equal rights to men in legal matters. You see, Sally, before now, women were things you could own and control. But this was wrong, Sally. Very wrong. Women, shockingly, are people. Hooray! Women were starting to work outside the home, in office jobs and operating telephones. And this was all well and good, nothing else happened, and then... Oh right. World War I. World War I was another war, this time with guns and flags, and men in top hats telling other men what to do and who to kill. Austria and Germany were fighting Britain and France in a big game of "Stop picking on my friend!" Nonetheless, Britain's friends were better than Germany's friends, and her friends won. Hooray! The aftermath was messy, with the losers' territories taken away and given this newfangled thing called independence. But the winners' territories wanted it too. They said, "Hey, you didn't treat us very well in the war. Now we want what they have." So Britain and France gave up their territories and called them dominions. Now, do you know what this is called, Sally? No, it's called post-colonialism. What's that, Sally? What's colonialism? Oh, well, people before World War I largely thought that everyone not white, male, or born in Europe was bad. Very bad. And the only way to fix the situation was to conquer and claim their lands for themselves. Make sense? Good. Let's move on. It's party time! Welcome to the 1920s. The war is over. The world has sorted itself out, and it's time to have the biggest party the world has ever seen. Alrighty guys, party's over. It's time for the Great Depression. The Great Depression was hard on everyone. With a lack of jobs worldwide, people worked wherever they could. Feminism took a back seat as families needed food on their tables, rather than social equality. Men who had lost their jobs took the jobs previously held by white women. White women took the jobs previously held by black women, and black women had no choice but to make their own jobs as stylists and hairdressers in black communities. But you might be thinking, Sally, how did we get out of this pickle? Good question, Sally. The answer? War! World War II brought Britain together with Russia and the United States to stop the German Nazis in Europe. This meant that all the men who had previously had no job now had a job in the military. The women then took their jobs back and some more. Taking roles of mechanics and labourers, women had never before had such an important role in the workforce. Take this picture. Created in 1943 as a poster to raise women workers' morale, called Rosie the Riveter, it became a symbol of feminism and yet another way to break away from that colonial idea that plagued the years before. Although it was only used briefly during the war, its main purpose was during our next stop, Sally. Here we are at second wave feminism. If we think of the first strive for women's rights as the suffragette movement, the next strive, or in this case, wave, is in the 1960s. It has an incredibly creative name known as second wave feminism. Second wave feminism is the idea that women should be able to do the same work as men, and there is no reason why they cannot. Second wave feminism adopted Rosie the Riveter as their mascot and symbol, and it's pretty obvious why they did. Masculine stance, stern, aggressive look, and in workers' clothes, but with a band around her head to make her different, it became an emblem of solidarity between women in the 1960s through to the 80s. But Mr. Narrator, sir, what happened to all the women who did great things as women and want to be recognized as different to men, but not the same as men? By Joe, Sally, another splendid question. Now, there were some smaller groups who broke off from the common theory of second wave. One of the more important groups was difference feminism. They believed that the achievements of women should not come from being like men, but rather being proud of female achievements throughout history. So you can keep that spanner, Jim. Sally's taking her own path. A path only Sally can take. Sally, you are one of millions of billions of women, and every one of you is different. Some like pink and dressing up. Others like to play with trucks. Some like boys, some like girls. Some were even born as boys and want to be girls. Some girls want to be boys. Third wave feminism is the attempt to break down the barriers of not only what women's rights are, but what it even is to be a woman. It analyzes gender roles in society, even down to the what he and she even mean. You may hear some of these issues brought up today. This is because we are currently in this wave of feminism and it is still being developed. But look how far we've come. From women fighting for the right to vote to women voting for the rights of others. The road to feminism has been a rocky one, from breaking out of the colonial jail that women found themselves in, to living in an age of unmatched freedom and expression. Can you add to the story, Sally?